Shares of SanDisk are getting crushed in Thursday trading after the company cut its first quarter revenue forecast on lower than expected sales and lower prices. I'm joined by Jack Mohr, Director of Research for Action Alerts Plus, who actually predicted this. Jack, you've been saying that you believe SanDisk is in big trouble. So how do you see this latest piece of bad news coming?
Well, I think like in January, they pre-announced for their Q4, and they had said that it's going to be weak. They slashed their forecast. They said that demand was an issue, pricing was an issue on the retail side. And that made me say, okay, when there's a pre-announcement, something extreme has to happen in order to incite that. So I looked into it a little bit more, and it looked like the company fundamentally was eroding from a competitive standpoint. It didn't have, in the NAND space, which is the space which they compete in, the semis, it didn't have the next generation NAND yet that manufactured. And its competitors like Samsung already had it rolled out, and Micron was rolling out another one later this year, so they were behind. And then I looked and I noticed that the whole industry seemed to be more commoditized than it used to be. There was no proprietary edge that really had SanDisk stand out like it did in the past. And that was its competitive edge, its technological edge, had always put it ahead of its competitors, but that has been completely eroded, completely erased. And I could see that this wasn't just a transitory trend, that it was something that was going to be a long-term, really unsustainable secular growth deceleration. I think that it seemed pretty obvious to me at the time, but there's so much love for SanDisk because this was the stock that made people so much money over the last 10 years.
Exactly. You've called this a cult stock. Every time it gets hit, we see analysts defend it, investors come out and buy it. Do you think this will happen yet again?
I think that there's no confidence that I have anymore. I didn't have confidence when they first pre-announced in January, and then 2 weeks later after their negative pre-announcement, they further lowered guidance. And so I thought all confidence in management was eroded then, but then you had, as you said, all these analysts that came and defended it. Now the third time in 2 months that they've had incredibly disappointing, lower than expected operations and guidance. I mean, that shows that they have completely lost control of their operations, that they don't really understand what their company is doing. They don't have any insight into the visibility. So I have no confidence that it can't happen yet again. I think that I think they were smart because they just withdrew their guidance for 2015 this time, almost entirely. They said it would be lower. So I think it's pretty much obvious at this point that they do not know what's happening in their own company.
And yet people want to believe in it, though. So is there anything you can foresee that would turn things around for SanDisk?
Yeah, I think that at this point, I mean, it's definitely getting clobbered right now, and the market is down like 17–18% today. I wouldn't short it now. I mean, I think that there is a certain point where it does have enough product that it will have sales, but I think that it's not going to be a beat and raise type of company ever again. And I think you're going to have a complete turnaround in the business, complete reinvigoration in what they're actually selling, because there isn't demand for their product either on the retail level or the enterprise level, and that's scary.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Jack Mohr, Director of Research for Action Alerts Plus. And I'm Brittany Umar for The Street.